Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Londonderry View Special Edition. Tonight we have with us Beth Marrocco, who's running for our library trustee 3-year position. And we really appreciate you being here with us tonight, Beth. And we'd love to just hear a little bit about your passion for why you're running and the great things you've done.
Thank you. It's great being here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I have lived in Londonderry for about 22, 23 years. I've been a patron of the Leach Library that entire time. And I love that place. That space is sacred to so many of us. Our kids grow up in that space. We find our quiet and our peace, and we find and rediscover our own interests as adults, because sometimes we can lose those passions as we're, getting all the things checked off the list. So it's a really inspiring space. And our library director, Erin Matlin, has done such a phenomenal job. I mean, it was always a great space, and now it's a fantastic space. It's so special. And I really feel passionately about supporting her and her really fantastic team of librarians. They offer so many programs for people literally of all ages and abilities. So the tots that are sitting on their parents' lap, to older folks who maybe needed an opportunity to get out of the house and to find their passion again. My daughter and I have sat through lots of felting activities with people of all ages, and it's so great to see 3 and 4 generations of people gather around the same spot, picking up a skill that maybe they had never even known to exist before. So it's really interesting, even going through the list of monthly activities that they offer, maybe that I can't get to, but just know it.
Knowing that you'd like to get to them.
There's somebody out there that is looking this week at birds, and they're preparing for the season where all the birds come back. So it's just really exciting. I love the library, and I've been watching their progress with meetings, through following their agendas every month. And then recently, probably in September, I started attending every month because just being in that space felt really important. So the following along of the agenda was important, but then also being there as a live participant felt really important to me, because then I really could tell in real time what the climate was and how things were, and how the board was functioning, and how supported our librarian staff felt. And it just felt really like a role that I could fulfill. I'm at that age now where civics is really important to me. I've been attending, 2 or 3 years now, all of the school board meetings.
I see you on there. I tend to watch that one from home, but boy, I appreciate your voice.
And it started off, with the pandemic as a lot of passion on all sides, a lot of opinions, a lot of concerns by everybody. And it was a very divided community. And even when kind of the Jerry Springer nature of the meetings subsided, and it was not exciting to go and watch all the drama unfold, when it was a nice, boring meeting again, when it was functional and we were getting things done on the agenda, I was still going, because now we're back in business. And it was really important to me to see that we were able to address the issues on the agenda and move forward. And I was able to kind of help be kind of that unifying voice, so helping bridge the community with what was happening in those meetings. And that felt really important, and I've never wanted to let that go. I never felt like we got to a point where I'm like, I could just go back to being passive. Because I did that for decades. These things just happened, and they just magically happened, and I didn't know anything about it, and it didn't bother me because I didn't see it on a day-to-day. But now that I'm involved, I can just see these things only happen because people are going, and they're listening, and they're asking questions, and they're talking to their neighbors about it, and that feels really important to me, and I want to be able to continue that with the library trustee position. I think like the pandemic and like the responses at the school board meetings, we can sometimes see that there are sides developing. And I think it's really important that a public library doesn't have sides. I really firmly believe that a public library is everyone's library. And I want to make sure that our director and our librarians feel affirmed in their job, because they are highly skilled folks, and we want to make sure that they stay. We don't want to be a community where it is hard to attract the best and the brightest
You're not kidding.
of
Right.
librarians. We take it for granted because it just exists, but it only exists because we are a space where people would want to come and work and stay. If we're training these folks, we want them to make the library in Londonderry their space, their home.
Absolutely.
So that's just really important to me. And I feel like there can be some divisiveness out there. And I feel like voters have to be really educated about who they're checking off on the ballot, because there are some folks who aren't really committed to the code of ethics that we as trustees will have to take an oath to. There's a code of ethics for the trustees that protects the rights of patrons to select books, to have books available to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that has become a question, and that is one of the reasons why I went from being the passive person who was aware of the meetings and the agendas to the person who was sitting in the chairs every month. Because I was starting to see that it wasn't just one voice, it was then a second voice and then a third voice of a few folks who were trying to pull us away from the standards that we have come to expect from public libraries. And I don't want them to feel like their job is to defend what they do, because we have RSAs that protect our libraries.
It's there.
We have
It's-
state laws, we have federal laws. If somebody wants to challenge that, there are channels to do that. But to combat our librarians or our trustees is not the avenue for that. And we need people to be able to do their jobs. So I would love to be voted by the residents of Londonderry to help protect those passions that our librarians are able to execute. And I would just be really honored if people would find out more about my platform. I do have a Facebook page. It's Beth Marrocco for Library Board of Trustees. It's on Facebook. And I would love to meet with people at those meetings, because I go to the meetings at their first Wednesday of every month, and I would be, really overjoyed to see more people come and be able to introduce myself and just kind of show them what it's about.
That was beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, my goodness.
Thank
your,
you.
your passion reigns through.
Yes, very much so.
And
definitely
your
does.
sincerity. Yeah.
I am shy, so sometimes it's hard for people to see that because I'm putting myself in a public space. But I really do feel passionate about our public spaces, and I want our community to be united between them. I don't want the divisiveness to continue because it serves no one.
Right.
I do want to kind of continue to move forward, and a friend and I started a group called Supporting DEI in Londonderry. It means diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that's something we brought to Old Home Day the last couple of years. So I just want to kind of keep moving forward and making sure that all groups in Londonderry are
groups.
fairly and adequately represented, because we can keep doing better. And I think that most of the people in town would support that. So I'm just hoping that they'll come on March 12th and make sure that they're casting their ballot, because so many of us become complacent and we don't get to the ballot. We have an excuse.
Yeah.
And I would like people to make that a real priority, because it's really important. It starts at the grassroots level.
It's the local that
It's-
is
it's
so important.
Right.
And
It's
a
so
lot
important.
of us did not recognize that as young people, and now we're kind of at that age where it matters. Like,
Yes.
and we have to model that for the younger people. We do.
Definitely.
Yeah.